Everybody, welcome to my Wiley solution walkthrough. This is accounting tools for business decision making, 8th edition. This is exercise 18-6. Textbook authors are Paul Kimmel, Jerry Weingand, and Jill Mitchell. The question used in the presentation is copyright 2022 by John Wiley and Sons. All rights are reserved. This is for educational purposes only. The video may not be distributed or redistributed without the express permission of Wiley. The solution presentation is copyright 2022 by Bennett Tchaikovsky. All rights are reserved. The opinions contained within this presentation are those of Bennett Tchaikovsky and not the authors of the textbook or of Wiley. Okay, let's get to it. So right over here. So as we go through and do these questions, I'm oftentimes going to be referring back to a variety of different formulas. And so what you'll kind of see over here is you'll see, if I mention a formula, this is where it's going to be. If you're taking my class, I will provide these to you on the exam. I don't believe you should have to be memorizing these ratios. You have to memorize some things, but definitely not this. And let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we've got PCD Corporation manufactures a single product, monthly costs, monthly production costs incurred in the manufacturing process are shown below for the production of 3,000 units. Okay, so right over here, we've got direct materials, direct labor, utilities, property taxes, indirect labor, supervisory salaries, maintenance, and then depreciation. So the utilities and maintenance costs are mixed costs. The fixed components of these costs are $300 and $200 respectively. Identify the costs above as variable, fixed, or mixed. Okay, so right over here, the direct materials and direct labor will do both of these. If we were not producing units, we would not be incurring these costs. So these are both going to be variable. The utilities, it tells us over here that when we're looking at this, my utilities and maintenance costs are mixed, okay? And the fixed components, so over here, the fixed components of utilities are 300. That must mean that the variable cost here is going to be 1,800. And of course, this is going to be a mixed cost, okay? So for property taxes, this is 1,000. And property taxes are generally going to be fixed, because they're not going to be changing with production. They're going to be basically staying the same. Indirect labor, that's actually a good one. I would actually say that, well, we wouldn't have indirect labor if we were not going out and producing things at the factory. So I'm going to say that this is variable. Okay, over here, supervisory salaries. Again, it's a supervisory salary. And so what I'm viewing this as, if we didn't have production, it would basically also be variable. Okay. But at the same time, though, with supervisory salaries, as I'm saying that, it could also be looked at as, it's actually not a question of it's a product or a period cost. It's whether it's going to be fixed or variable. I would probably say if it's a supervisory salary, this is going to be fixed. So I'll say it's a fixed cost. Over here, we'll say that this is fixed. Maintenance. Okay, so it says that maintenance costs are mixed. So the fixed portion of this is 200 from right down here. So that means that the variable portion is 900. Okay, and then this is going to be mixed. And then over here for depreciation, straight line, because the same amount's the same year over year, this is also going to be a fixed cost. So let's see if we were right. So it's always fun to kind of go through and do. So just give me a moment. So direct materials and direct labor, we got that correct. Utilities and the maintenance are both mixed. Indirect labor, I got that right. That is variable. Property taxes, supervisory salaries, and then the depreciation are all going to be all will be fixed. So that's kind of where we look at it. Although you could say the supervisory salaries, it's generally going to be a fixed cost, but That's fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and now go back over here to our problem. Okay. So right over here. So so identify the costs that are mixed. Now what happens when we produce 5,000 units? So right over here, we've got direct materials has a total cost of 7,500. Okay, so, and then the units were 3,000. And I'll just go ahead and just switch this around. Okay, so right over here. So if my total cost is 7,500, that means the per unit is going to be 7,500 divided by 3,000 or $2.50. Okay. For direct labor, the cost was 18,000 if I'm producing 3,000 units, right? Because this is at 3,000. My per unit is going to be $6 per unit. Okay. Utilities. So my utilities fixed are going to be at 300, right? So this is not going to change with whatever happens. However, my variable portion of my utilities are 1,800. So therefore, my per unit here is going to be at 60 cents per unit. My property taxes, this is basically at the 3,000 units. This is still going to be at 1,000, right? That's not going to be changing. This is basically fixed cost. Indirect labor. Okay, so we're kind of, the way we're going to do this is we're being asked to produce it at 5,000 units. So this is at 3,000 units. To do this at 5,000 units, what we're going to want to go ahead and do is we're going to say, all right, my units are 5,000. So what I'm now going to try to go over here and do is to say, okay, so over here, my units are 5,000. My per unit is $2.50. So this is going to cost us 12,500. For my direct labor, my per unit is $6. So this is going to cost us $30,000. My utilities fixed are not going to be changing. My utilities variable are going to be 5,000 at 60 cents per unit or $3,000. My property taxes are also not going to be changing because that's going to be fixed. So over here at 3,000 units, my indirect labor was 4,500. So this is going to be at $1.50 per unit. So at 5,000 units at $1.50, this is going to give me 7,500. Okay. My supervisory salaries. Okay, so my supervisory salaries, we said that this is going to be a fixed cost, right? So right over here, my total cost is 1,900. So that's not going to change. Okay, so for my maintenance, and I didn't do this correctly, so I'm going to have maintenance, fixed, maintenance, variable. So my fixed maintenance costs are 200. So this would also go ahead and translate to over here at 200. My maintenance variable, 3,000 units, 900. So this is going to be at a rate of 30 cents per unit. So at 5,000 units, my costs are going to be 1,500. And then over here, we've got maintenance variable, and we're going to have depreciation straight line. This is going to be 2,400. And then this cost over here doesn't change. So if I'm looking at all of these costs, and if I wanted to come up with like a per unit, if it's assuming this is all related to production, so on a per unit basis, this is going to be 1283. And if this over here, this is going to be 1206. So it's a little bit lower, but that's expected because as we produce more units, basically the vault, it's going to drop the price because these fixed costs are now being spread out amongst more units, whereas the variable costs aren't changing. So let's go see how we did on this one. Okay, so right over here, God, what are they doing? Okay, so we're getting to the same number, but they're wanting to go through and do these things over. So we're coming up with the same values, but they're just going through and doing a few extra steps. I guess you could probably look at my work and say, yeah, Tchaikovsky, you did some extra work too, but at least we're getting the same numbers. So there you go. In any event, I want to thank you for being here today. And as always, I want to thank the bus driver, or I want to be thanking Wiley for allowing to make these solutions. Thank you very much, Wiley. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're looking for other solutions, feel free to ask for them in the comments below. Have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a good day.